Okay. Let me welcome you to the Tuesday, May 2nd, 2009 meeting of the Glendale Redevelopment Agency. Mr. City Clerk, if you'd call the roll for the agency.
Agency members: Friedman.
Here.
Najarian.
Here.
Quintero.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Chairman Draymond. And for the record, we are returning from recess from closed session for GRA.
That is correct. Thank you for the correction. And I am here, for the record. Okay. Mr. City Clerk, could we hear the report, please?
The agenda for the May 12, 2009 regular meeting of the Glendale Redevelopment Agency was posted on Thursday, May 7, 2009 on the bulletin board outside City Hall.
Thank you. And the next item, please?
Oral communication. There were no cards submitted.
If there were no cards submitted, then I will close oral communications, and let's move on to the next item.
At 6, at the business agenda, is Director of Development Services at 6A regarding reimbursement resolution for the Glendale Redevelopment Agency issue and sale of tax-exempt bonds. At 6A1 is a resolution declaring its intention to reimburse expenditures relating to the Central Glendale Redevelopment Project area from the proceeds of tax-exempt obligations.
Thank you, Mr. Kasakian. And now let's go to our Director of Development Services, Phil Anzavin.
Mr. Chairman, members of the agency, the title of the item really tells you everything this is about. It's an administrative item. The tax code allows you to adopt a resolution such as this and then go back 60 days and it announces your intention to reimburse any funds the agency or city has expended on eligible projects with tax proceeds. So we're asking you to take this action. Should you decide in the future to issue bonds, redevelopment agency bonds, we could then reimburse the city and the CIP on these eligible projects. With that, if there's any questions, General Counsel and I are here to offer.
Okay. Just for informational purposes, can you give an example of the kind of projects that would be the right kind of projects?
Sure. The projects that we've listed are improvements to the Central Library, and these are all projects that are listed in our CIP that you have looked at, you've adopted, and projects that you look at in the future. The Adult Recreation Center that is set to break ground shortly. The soccer field improvements at Columbus Elementary School, which is a joint venture with the school district. And then finally, we had included on here Pacific Pool. If the redevelopment agency were asked to contribute any funding, I think that project may be funded with grants and so may not need this, but we folded it in just to be sure.
Okay, and one last question, Mr. Lanspan. What would be the benefit of such a thing?
The benefit here would be that you could use redevelopment dollars to fund these improvements, thereby relieving the general fund of that expense. And as we spoke this morning, that's really where we're all looking and focusing right now is the general fund.
And other than the general fund, how does that help redevelopment?
All of these projects will work to benefit the project area.
Yep.
And under the definitions that we adopted, the project areas, they would eliminate blight and provide needed public facilities.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. City Manager.
Just want to add that by general fund, Phil means the capital improvement program,
right.
The general capital improvement program. And as you can anticipate, when we bring the capital improvement program to you this year for the following years, there is a tremendous pressure on our resources in the CIP to do the projects you feel are a high priority. By utilizing GRA bond funds, we can free up the other revenues we have for other projects that wouldn't otherwise qualify for redevelopment agency assistance.
Right. Very good. All right. Let me go to my colleagues. Mr. Najarian.
And if the proceeds of the bond are not used and they're parked, that in any event results in a net income to the city or to the agency. The difference between the return on our investment and the payment on the bond amount, the arbitrage amount.
Unlike the COPs for the police building, the tax law does not allow you to arbitrage beyond a certain, and I've forgotten what it is, it may be 50 basis points, 25 or 50 basis points. So unlike the city COP, the police building COPs, you would never find a wide gap.
So this action here is approving the sale of $20 million in bonds, and we will.
No, it's what this action does is it's stating your intent to reimburse yourself if you issue bonds in the future
And
for these
we
projects.
anticipate bringing you a report that will recommend the sale of bonds, but this is not that approval.
All right, let me start at the right end of the dais. Mr. Mincy, anything?
This is redevelopment.
Oh, excuse me. Well, then we'll just pass over you, if you don't mind.
I don't mind
Sneaky
at
of you
all.
to be sitting on the dais at this moment. Let me let me go to agency member Friedman. Anything? Okay, Mr. Quintero.
No, I think it's a good idea.
All right, Mr. Weaver.
I'd like to move 6A1.
We have a motion 6A1,
Second.
and we have a second. Mr. Kasakian, are there any cards? There are no speakers on this, so if there's no further comments from the agency, Mr. Kasakian, if you call the roll, please.
Agency members Friedman. Najarian.
Yes.
Quintero.
Yes.
Weaver.
Aye.
Chairman Draymond.
Yes. All right, our next item.
Any agency member or staff comments?
I see no hands going up, Mr. Kasakian. So is there any new business?
Motion to adjourn.
Recessed
We're going to
recessed.
session.
All right, we will recess back to closed session. Thank you.
Okay, I'll call to order the joint public meeting of the Glendale City Council and Glendale Housing Authority. May we have a roll call?